back with more Factor and our guest. And once again, we apologize for Ivan slipping up. He's hot.
If you look up under his neck.
Let me get back. Let me get back.
That black beard, and they'll puff up their necks, and that's when they'll show you, hey, I'm the man. You know, and it'll turn fully black. It's beautiful, beautiful.
He's looking at me aggressively.
No, it's cold in here.
Like he wants to do me something.
And then with them, they're both male. So he's trying to show his little dominance. At some point, he probably start doing a little head.
So he's younger than...
No, he's a little older.
He's older.
Yeah, he's
okay.
On the small
All right, wait. Player. There we go.
So you don't want to know? You wouldn't want to know.
So here's the thing. He's saying just a list. Then he adds, like, well, if you sleep with my homeboy, well, if you're with someone who is respectful to you and knows you, she's probably going to let you know that.
Well, he got weird saying the whole list. I don't want to know everybody.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts now.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Matt Horn. Welcome to the Isaiah Factor Uncensored Primetime Live. Isaiah is not here, but we have everybody else with the team here. That includes Keyshawn Marshall, Sonora Harris. All right, guys, it is Wednesday, August 12th. How in the heck are both of y'all doing?
It's hump day. It's almost Friday. I've been counting down. I've been counting down since Monday, but it's it's almost a weekend. It's almost. We're almost
halfway through.
We're halfway through. Yeah, halfway through.
Yes.
Halfway through. Sonora, what's going on with you, Hannah? In the words of Isaiah Carey, Sonora with the glossy lips.
Yes, with the glossy lips.
With Isaiah gone, it feels like when the teacher leaves the class, they let the kids stay.
100%. And you know, it's so funny too, because you know what that means? That all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah.
In the best way possible.
We having fun tonight.
Yes.
We are having fun tonight. We're not actually going to cover any news. We're going to sit here and talk about our favorite TV shows. Kidding. Completely kidding.
Big Brother.
Big Brother. Exactly.
It just went off.
Oh my gosh. Too funny. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and actually get to some of the big stories that we actually have going on today. So one of the big ones that I
we gotta say love to our people.
Oh yes, our faithful
our
viewers.
friends, our family.
Estrella Garcia, hello. You know, one of the other things too, if you guys are watching us on YouTube right now, make sure you go ahead and hit that thumbs up like button at the bottom of the video. Make sure you're also subscribing, turning on those notifications. That's how we stay in the algorithm. So we're trying to make sure that we're trying to do what we can with Isaiah being gone, and we're trying to make sure that we can prove to him that we can handle this.
Yes, we're holding it down.
We're holding it down. We're holding it down. Well, make sure you also hop in those comments and chime in and tell us what you guys think about the stories we're covering for tonight.
And I just want to give a shout out to the people who have subscribed to our YouTube page. We hit 15,000 followers this week.
Yes.
15,000, that's a big deal. We relaunched our page like a year ago this week or last week. And, you know, 15,000 people decided to subscribe to our page, and they like what they see. And keep on, tell a friend.
That's a huge milestone.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, like to Keyshawn's point, we launched these YouTube pages and channels. It's been a year ago. And I'll say this much, and I know both of you guys will probably agree. Growing a YouTube page from the bottom up is not for the faint of heart by any stretches of the imagination. It is tough work.
It's not. I was just talking to you about that. Like, I just started my personal YouTube page. Follow me, y'all. Get my subscribers up. But I just started that, and I only got 30 subscribers. 30.
That's better than zero. You know, you got to start somewhere.
And Keyshawn, here's my thing though. Here's what I have to say about that. We already know that you have like 12,000 followers on your Instagram page. Why the hell are those people not following, liking, subscribe?
I know they're you know. Oh no.
Listen, I'm gonna sit there and hijack your Instagram page one of these days and be like, listen, we are going to figure out a way to grow your audience. And if they don't follow you on your YouTube channel, that means that you need to just cut.
Yes, I need to X some people off. Okay, they ain't loyal.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and switch to some different news that we have going on. So one of the big stories that came out today is coming from the White House. Karoline Leavitt is leaving the White House. Earlier this afternoon, I actually had a chance to talk with political analyst Dietrich Von Bidenfeld. Let's go and take a listen to what he had to say. And joining me tonight is Dr. Dietrich Von Bidenfeld. And Dietrich, the big story that we're seeing everywhere across the country is Karoline Leavitt, the youngest person to hold the role of press secretary in the Trump administration. She's going to be leaving. So we found out earlier today. So President Trump put this out on Truth Social saying, our wonderful White House press secretary and one of my most trusted aides, Karoline Leavitt, will be departing her role at the end of the month so she can spend more time with her beautiful young children and family, a decision I totally understand and respect. Karoline will now be one of my top outside advisors and an influential voice within the Republican Party as we work to defy history and conclusively win the midterm elections. So I'm going to go ahead and not read necessarily through the rest of that because anybody can log online and see that. But take me through, I mean, hearing this, is this really that much of a shock to you hearing about this announcement?
I don't think it's that new, particularly given some of the controversies and stressors that she's had, and they've just compounded. She's survived quite comparably to Huckabee Sanders and much longer than many of the previous first-term secretaries. So this is a very challenging role. The president does use his social media. He's a very independent voice. And so the role of the press secretary in making the president sound more presidential, in packaging some of the controversial or challenging ideas into something digestible for the U.S. public, she's not able to effectively do because her boss very much controls his own Truth Social platform. Previously, he was on X at midnight. You know, we had the Cofevra. And so how do you speak for someone who likes to speak for themselves? And then how do you manage someone who will say one thing on Tuesday, change it on Wednesday, and then repackage it on Thursday? So it's been a lot, and she does have young children. So it's very practical for her to take a role back. She'll still be participating in the administration. This is pretty common with a lot of the people that President Trump is showing that maybe they're not as prime in their role as they could be, but he still trusts them. So he's done this before where he moves someone into sort of an advisory role where they're still connected to the administration, maybe where they're still getting a little bit of pay. She still does have some of those outstanding congressional debts that she's going to lock up. So we do know that there is an incentive to stay in government and sort of participate in that way and have that access. But this is not very surprising at all. And I think she's going to find it much less stressful to be able to offer her opinions behind the scenes, as opposed to trying to publicly repackage what a very vocal and vociferous president will do.
Yeah, you know, and the one thing too, I know that you're talking about his previous press secretaries when he was in his first term. And I remember Sean Spicer and then Huckabee Sanders. And it's really interesting for me to see with her because if I was a betting man, I would say that she's probably still going to have a very successful career post the White House. Because, I mean, look at Sanders. I mean, she is now the governor of, what is it, Arkansas, I believe.
Right.
And so it's like, and also to that point, she just had her second child, her second daughter named Viviana in May. And she also has a 2-year-old son, Nico. So, I mean, to me, it really wasn't much of a surprise to hear about that. But here's my question I have for you, though, is looking forward to whoever's going to assume the position or who's going to take it next. I mean, what do you think we should expect to see potentially?
I think President Trump likes young ladies to project his image. It's not only a youthful image, but it's also a certain softness that he recognizes he may not project. You know, he's very much a boisterous person with you know, a lot of terminology that's exaggerative. Huge is a very common adjective that he likes to use. And so having a female voice, I think is going to be something that we're going to anticipate again. Spicer, of course, had that very short tenure. And then we had several women in that role that were much more able to understand, read the president, and for him to feel comfortable with them. So I think another young woman is likely to move in. Maybe some of the individuals who have been traveling with him more frequently, those personal assistants that we've seen, becoming more publicly acknowledged. So it would be very easy for one of them to transition and speak to his vision in a way that he finds appreciable. Because again, a lot of this is translating the message of the president into something that the American people can digest, appreciate, and find electable, right? So particularly as we approach the midterms, he's going to want someone who can share the message and be pleasant to interact with. He likes that deference, I think, and so seeing somebody who's 35 or younger and a woman, I think, is very much likely going to be the outcome of the next selection.
All right. Well, Dietrich, always love your insight, and make sure you don't go anywhere because we're going to have you talking about something else here in the next few minutes. So, Dietrich, thank you as always. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, there we have it. You know, and one of the things too, I remember from Trump's first administration with Sean Spicer. Mm-hmm. And I know that when Dietrich had mentioned that, like that Sean Spicer was very short-lived. I know this may not be popular, but whatever the case may be, he made it for a good SNL character when he was around for the first the first administration. Yeah. So let's go and get to some of these comments. So we have a couple of our fan favorites who are always in here. We got Clever Girl Reads, and we also have Sassy. And Sassy said, Good evening, everyone. Hey from Sky. And then she put a bug emoji because apparently she thinks we're bugging out. No, I'm just kidding. No, afterwards she said, I don't know why I hit the bug.
She did.
Maybe thinking about Isaiah in that video.
Oh, yeah, right.
And maybe it's a subconscious thing.
Exactly, which is perfect. What's Sassy's last comment there, Sonora?
Sassy, Melissa McCarthy killed that impression.
Yes, she did.
Yes.
I think Sean Spicer, or maybe, I don't know if I'm thinking about somebody else. I think he was on Dancing with the Stars at one point too.
Yes, he was. I remember that. Like, there's always people who are in like the political spheres and stuff like that who I'd always want to meet. Like whether it's Republican, Democrats, Independents, it doesn't make a difference. But Sean Spicer, he's fascinating to me because I think that at that point in time, he was just always so ticked off about everything is what it seemed like from somebody watching it. And I just want to know, like, why was he always so flustered? Like, was there something else happening behind the scenes or what have you?
Well, you know why he was so flustered.
Listen. Yes.
I will feel it.
He's dealing with a lot.
A stressful job.
Oh, absolutely.
But
right,
I wonder where she's going next. You know, I know Jen Psaki is now on MS Now. That's the name of it now. Formerly MSNBC. She's a commentator. So I wonder what's next for her.
Yeah.
Well, I think she's going to be an advisor.
She's young. She's not even 30 yet, right?
She's 28 years old.
Wow.
28 years old. And the thing that's so crazy to me is like everybody knows who she is now. Everybody knows who she is. Yeah.
It's only up from here.
Only up from here. No, for sure. All right, guys. Well, another story. Okay, so this story. Okay, so the three of us are all of a certain age. And that age is the age where we had to earn a letter grade when we went to college, A, B, C, D, F. And apparently the University of Michigan, I mean, there's a couple of other universities as well who have similar things in place, but University of Michigan is going to be the most recent or the newest university who's going to get rid of those letter grades for some incoming freshmen. It's not all incoming freshmen, and it's supposed to start in fall of 2027. So a year from now. And before we get to the actual interview that we did earlier, I have to say this. I am a huge Ohio State fan. Anybody who knows that Ohio State and the University of Michigan, there is a lot of bad blood between the two universities. So I automatically was like, no, this is ridiculous. Now, if it was the Ohio State University doing it, I'd be like, oh my God, this is fabulous. This is great.
The innovation.
Innovation. Oh my gosh, look at them change with the time.
Minds.
But it's a very interesting topic because, you know, and we're going to get to it a little bit more in these interviews, but the one thing that the University of Michigan is really wanting to focus on is mental health for these students, also focusing on transition into, I guess you could say, really adulthood as they go from high school into their freshman year of college. So yeah, so we had this interview that we did earlier with the host of the Nightcap and her son. So let's go and play that one. All right, guys, and joining me to talk about the University of Michigan going to a pass-fail for certain incoming freshmen, I have Karoline Sanchez, the host of the Nightcap, and we also have her son, Adrian, who is a student at Roosevelt University in Chicago. Let me just get your guys' initial take. What is your thoughts when you hear about this? Adrian, I'm going to start with you since you're going to be a sophomore this year.
I think it's beneficial for students with high stress for finals and everything, you know. I think it could help. It could help a few people. I think it could be stressful not knowing the gauging of A, B, C, D. You don't know how close you are to failing. You don't know how far you are from failing. You're just passing. So it could help, but I also see some negatives in it. Who knows? Maybe you got to put it into practice to figure it out.
Okay, well, Carolina, we're the same age. We
Yes.
did not have this option.
25.
We are 25, barely 25. What are your thoughts? Because I have a lot of thoughts, but I want to hear yours first before.
Yeah, I'm grappling with, you know, having my son in college and then thinking back to my time in college, which was just a few years ago. Would it have been beneficial to have a pass? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I love it as a parent because it's like, all right, I need to know if you're doing well or not, right? I don't want to give the pressure, especially when he's moved far away from home, he's in a new city, getting acclimated to higher education and coming from a small town. Like it's a huge jump and a huge change. However, for many years, for decades, we've all been doing it and getting A, B, C, D, Fs. Right.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even thought about the idea of gauging because it's only for the first semester. So after that, you're off to the races. But there must be some good to it, Matt. If Caltech, MIT, Wesleyan College are doing it, like there must be some benefits, right?
So here's the thing that's funny is Adrian called me out on this when he was sitting in my office when you were getting ready for this. And I automatically hate this because I'm a huge Ohio State fan. And with it being the University of Michigan, I mean, to me, I'm like, come on. But you know here's what's interesting to me. So when I went to college at Bowling Green up in Ohio, we were able to switch our non-major courses to pass fail. And it would gauge it off of ABC would be considered pass, DF would be considered fail. And it had benefits to it for me, like, because I sucked at science. I'm still not good at science. So like after me taking biology for the third time with basic biology, I'm like, I just need to get this done and over with. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me, but you bring up a good point too. It's like, we've been doing this for decades with the letter grades. Yeah. But I mean, so Adrian, with you going to Chicago, with you being a freshman up in Chicago, do you think it would have benefited you as an incoming freshman?
I think there's some classes that would have benefited. I had a little bit of a rough time in biology, similar science. But I think being able to know if I was at an A, a B, or a C really helped me gauge how far I was from passing or from failing. I think it's beneficial if, you know, you are registered as a pass, but it lets you know how close you really were from passing or failing. So I think it could have benefited, yeah. I don't see a negative other than that. So I'd say it could have benefited.
I mean, thinking like even more broadly, like obviously I'm not in a position to hire anyone, but employers, do they actually care in the majority of the fields, whether or not you got an A versus a C in a course?
And you know, it's interesting.
And I beg to differ that they probably don't, unless, you know, you're going into, I don't know, chemical engineering or things like that, where, you know, you must have precise knowledge on whatever industry you're trying to get into. I feel like a pass fail would probably land people the same jobs they would go to, whether they made a C or an A.
And you know, Carolina, it's funny you say that because with me being somebody who does do the hiring process and stuff like that, whenever I get a resume, do you want to know what I am not looking at? I don't care about GPA.
You're not looking at a GPA. Yeah.
No, not at all. Because I'm like, I'm like, I wasn't an A+ student in college. I know that. I partied too hard during college. I get it. I know it. So I'm like, when I look at somebody and they're like, oh, well, I'm a C average student. I'm like, that's fine. Can you do the job? And are going to do it well? I don't really care about that. So that's an interesting take. Adrian, when it came to like you and other freshman student last year, were there a lot of people who were having a hard time adjusting, or was it like for me, when I was in college, my freshman year, first semester, I was like, oh my gosh, let me go out and party. I have my freedom for the first time in my entire life, and my grades suffered for it. But I mean, what were you seeing with you being a college student?
So I got lucky, and I'm surrounded by so many creatives in my school because I have theater classes, there are music classes, there are just sports athletes, there are regular students who just want to, you know, get their education. So I think it depends, because one of my friends, he's a music major, he had a lot. He had to do music theory, he had to do piano, he's a drummer, like, so it's kind of hard. My other roommate, he's a baseball player. So with baseball, you have to practice all the time, and he's trying to do a medical degree. So with that, it's a little hard. There's not as much time. We'd be like, hey, come out with us, you know, let's go have fun. But you have to stay inside because he was at practice, or he had to do his work. So I don't know. I think for me,
like
it was all
hearing
right,
this, like the other layer, especially with my son, is like he is on a track and field scholarship. He also has academic scholarships. And so I think you need to know whether you're doing well or not to maintain those scholarships. Otherwise, they go by the wayside. If you're not performing academically, you probably won't get the same merit and sports money.
Well, and you know, the thing I think is really interesting, because when I was doing a little bit of research before this, it said that actual grades will still be kept internally. So I'm curious to see what does that actually mean? Like, are they going to be
the official transcript that doesn't have?
Yeah.
And it just means no credit. They don't even say fail. It's pass or no credit.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
so here's so here's what I have to say too. This is horrible, and I mean no offense to this at all. But I'm like, for me, like when I think about this, I'm like, I think there are benefits. I really do think there are benefits to this. But I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, this is the real world though. Like it's part of the real world. And I feel like that I'm just used to people being like, all right, Matt, you're performing here, you're performing here, you're performing there, so on and so forth. So, I mean, it's interesting to me. And again, this goes back to the fact of my disdain and hatred for the University of Michigan, being an Ohio State fan. And now, because if it was Ohio State doing this, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever.
So it's bias.
Oh, 100%. And I can admit that. And so one of the other things too about this is this will only impact, so it will start in the fall of 2027. And it only impacts students entering College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. That's it. So, I mean, that's the other thing that's interesting to me too. But it kind of goes back to what you were saying, Karoline, a few minutes ago about there are certain industries and certain fields where it's like, are you on top of your game or are you not on top of your game? And they need to know how well versed you are. So,
I mean, when I did read up on it, it seems like MIT and Caltech are doing it to help people adjust for mental health reasons, and also to encourage students to explore different courses that they might not in fear of failing and it affecting their transcript. So I feel overall, I'm positive on it.
No, that's good. No, I would agree with that. And Adrian, you're going into your second year. What advice would you have to first year students going into college?
I think it's to understand that there's no ceiling. I think if you are used to being locked in a cage, you need to understand that there's no cage. As much as it may feel like there is, do whatever, make mistakes, make new friends, make new friends. Be indifferent. Just learn.
I love this. Carolina, you have to be proud.
I am proud.
Yeah.
He's a great kid. He's a great kid. We're very open communication. We don't push him too hard, but we push him. He knows what he's got to do.
Yes, absolutely. Well, hey, I appreciate both of y'all for coming on. And again, go Bucks. All right. Well, hey, good luck, Adrian, with your second year of college. And again, I appreciate y'all for coming on. And Carolina, don't forget to check her out tonight at 11:30 on the Nightcap. All right. See y'all. All right, guys.
Oh,
Wasn't
so
that
sweet.
amazing?
I love that.
And I love watching Karolina, like when
You can see
Adrian is being interviewed, because I'm like, she's got that proud parent look
Yes,
on her
yes,
face,
yes.
and I love that. And I mean, I've known Karolina now for how long have I been here? Almost 4 years or 3.5 years, we'll say. And she's always so proud of her kids, and I love to see that.
Yeah, you
So,
can see it in her eyes.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, Sonora, let's want to get some of these comments. It looks like Sassy and Clever Girl Reads have some good comments about this.
See, Sassy says, I have 2 in college right now. They just left. The stress that I had in college is the same for them. Pass fail sounds more stressful. Seeing a C in a class where I knew that I didn't make an effort was just as satisfactory. Just as satisfactory as getting an A in all of the other courses.
Oh.
That's interesting. I think that's a really good take when it comes to it, because if you fail, then you just
fail.
you're just SOL if that's the case.
Yeah, maybe I would want the grade levels, because that's how you know how to improve.
Yeah.
And just seeing a pass or fail, what if I fail? I'll be, my gosh. But if I get a C, I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, you know what's interesting for me too. So hear me out with this, is like at Bowling Green. So I know I had mentioned this about, if it was a non-major course, you'd be able to do pass-fail for the course. And the reason why, when I did biology, and like I was in my professor's office, all the office hours and stuff, and I was still oblivious. I had no idea what in the world we were being taught in class. But I eventually got to a point where I passed it, and I was on scholarship at the point, and I had to maintain a certain GPA. And when it was pass-fail, it wouldn't have an impact on my GPA. And I needed my other courses I needed to do much better in the other courses, because I knew I would always drop out at the very last possible moment when it was a letter grade with biology the first 2 times I took it. So it didn't impact my GPA.
I think that we need to stop coddling these children.
I would agree.
They have
And they're
so
young,
many resources. They have so many resources. I remember, we had the internet, but it wasn't the best. You still had to go through the encyclopedia. I remember the days when my grandmother had rolls, books of. That's how you did a book report.
Yeah,
the encyclopedia. You go, you pick what book, what the letter. You pick it. You used to go to the library.
Yeah.
These kids.
Well, and Keyshawn, to that point too, you would always hope that when you got the Britannica encyclopedia, you're always hoping that it was a newer edition, so you were actually accurate.
Yes, I remember those days.
Damn, yeah, that's a throwback.
Now they have AI. They have no excuse to fail, to be honest.
And back then too, with those encyclopedia, like the more up to date, if you really had it, your grandma had the CD-ROM.
Yeah, CD-ROMs. Some people older, they don't even have that.
That's hysterical. So true. So okay, so the conversation with this, we're not done with this conversation yet, because I actually continue talking with Dietrich about this. And it's really interesting because, I mean, Dietrich is brilliant in general. And when we were talking about this, he gave some really interesting insight about why some colleges may actually be doing this. Let's go and take a listen to that. All right, and joining me right now, we have Dietrich, who is the assistant professor over at the University of Houston downtown. Dietrich, all right, we were talking about this a little bit about what the University of Michigan is going to put in place starting fall of 2027. Students in who are going to be in the College of Lit, Science, the Arts will have a pass, no credit versus the letter grade for incoming freshmen. With you being teaching students, what is your take when you hear about something like this?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we know that higher education is under a crunch for funding and for enrollment. There's a lot of competition. There are a number of areas, just like with our K-12 institutions in Texas competing with charter schools. These ideas are frankly somewhat business-minded when we think about chasing enrollment, and the idea that if you have students who have a mental health crisis or who are struggling with their grades and they drop out due to those stressors, that's lost enrollment dollars. So I do think there's at least some pragmatic drive on this end that has nothing to do with pedagogy or andragogy and has a lot to do with the quest for enrollment. But on the flip side, there are a number of elite institutions that have experimented with this somewhat successfully. And again, it just depends on how the model is implemented. So it depends, context is key, is going to govern how each of these models allows students to experience competition, to have that pressure and motivation that they'll experience in the workforce. Because after we move the students from their freshman year into graded programs or into their co-op programs and internships into the workforce, at what point have you not laid a foundation for them to handle the real world stressors of employment, not handled the measures that go between performance reviews, and not have handled those things that would go into perhaps a bonus structure? So then you have people who are resentful because they've graduated with a piece of paper that tells them they're capable and competent, and maybe they are, but they are not able to withstand the real world pressures of competition in the workforce, competition, particularly in the legal profession, against opposing counsel. And this idea that maybe the emphasis on mental health should go more into providing counseling services as opposed to restructuring a proven model for gauging whether students have actually mastered the material.
And it's really interesting when you hit on all those different points, because I don't think a lot of people really think about it when it comes to the bottom dollar, essentially, when it comes to enrollment and stuff like that. Do you think that this will, make that much of a difference for a university like the University of Michigan when it comes to upping enrollment for some of those incoming freshmen? And really quick before you answer that, when you think of the College of Science and the College of Arts, I feel like that those are such large colleges at a lot of universities in general. Do you think that's going to help pull more students in?
Absolutely, because recognize that our sophistication of data, while our brains maybe aren't processing and analyzing it the best way possible, we have access to a number of resources, even locally. Rice University produces quite a few tools for prospective college students to look at what careers are going to be making X number of dollars in the near future. What are careers that are going to outlast and be sustainable in the age of AI? And so when students and their parents have this massive sort of research, they're going to say, wait, maybe I don't want you to go into the College of Natural Sciences because then you need a graduate degree to be independently profitable. And maybe in the College of Arts, we don't want to necessarily encourage you to go. So I think in this way, this does offer an incentive for those students to move forward and to attract students that are now in competition with perhaps business, medical, or pre-law programs where there might be more of a financial incentive to enroll. And concurrently, we recognize that these students are, again, potentially going to be at a disadvantage for some of these programs if they are bringing in something. It's just like the bar exam or the LSAT, right? So we can remove these competitive structures, but our employers still going to use those as metrics for hiring. Our graduate school is still going to look to your grades and say, I'm not sure if I have a choice between this person who has a quantifiable 4.0 and this person who has a smiley face, a heart, and a rainbow. Maybe I'll go with the quantifiable 4.0. And so I think this is a challenge still prospectively, but at least as it's been manifested at some of the elite universities, it has allowed those programs to compete with some of those more quantifiably profitable or prospective career security choices that parents may be making even for their children.
Let me ask you this from somebody who educates the next generation of Americans and stuff like that. What challenges, or maybe not challenges, would a professor have when it comes to these classes and stuff like that? Would there be any challenges?
I think one of the challenges is motivation, right? So one of the points that I always contrast myself with other professors is I don't have a cell phone use policy for my classes, because in my mind, if the class is not engaging and students are looking down at their phones, I'm not connecting, and therefore the educational value that they're paying for, despite my subject matter knowledge, despite my many years of experience and what I know that I'm offering, if the communication isn't sender and receiver per Covey's model, I'm not connecting. So I don't have a cell phone use policy. Concurrently, though, what is the competitive motivator for me to promise or reward those students who are actively participating, turning in their homework on time, and showing them, particularly even in an age of entrepreneurship, people say, oh, these structures are designed for bureaucratic or corporate structures. Guess what? If you're an entrepreneur and you don't answer my call timely, I'm going to the next lawn service. I'm going to the next dry cleaner. So these skills and required behaviors are being disincentivized And it creates a sort of a level playing field, which may be less stressful, but again, long term could be less competitive. So I'm curious to see how they roll it out. I can see pros and cons, but I could also see a lot more benefits to having mental health counselors for those individuals who have stressors, and still keeping at least some competitive framework to incentivize great students to continue excelling, to encourage students to participate, which they may not do, particularly with the preference for hybrid and online classes. Folks with their cameras off, guess what? If I know I just need to pass the test and I won't be graded, I'm going to leave my camera off. And now the student environment has lost some of its critical thinking value. I've lost the personal histories of my students because the students offer measurable value to the discussions and the analysis and the debates that go into business law and supply chain courses. Now I've lost that because I've really disenfranchised or disincentivized particularly business-minded students. Why am I going to turn my camera off and participate when I can still pass? And maybe there's another student in there that really could have benefited from my life experience or something that I read in my high school that you didn't read in your high school. So I do think there are a lot of these sort of qualitative, but then future quantifiable challenges that go into this system.
All right. Awesome. Well, Dietrich, thank you. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on the Isaiah Factor Primetime Live. And obviously, I'm not Isaiah, but it's always great to see you.
Wonderful to see you.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. All righty. There we have it. What are your guys' thoughts after hearing what Dietrich had to say about that?
So it's really interesting to hear him say that, maybe alternatively, the school could focus on mental health resources versus restructuring everything. Because like we've been saying, it's, it would be nice to know and measure exactly how well or not so well you're doing in a class. Yep. Though that, that's what the grading system is for. If you're, not doing so great, it's like, okay, what do I need to do to improve my grade? That's where you take steps to become better academically.
Yep. These kids need to get it together.
See, and I thought, Keyshawn, I was going to be the one who was going to be like this.
Yeah, come on, kids, come on. I've been college is not meant to be easy. That's why it's college. Come on. If you're not ready for college, you're not ready for the real world. Do something else then. Maybe it's not for you.
Yeah. There's a lot of different trade fields out there and stuff where people don't have to worry about that. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But yeah,
earn your stripes.
Earn your stripes. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. Sassy and Clever Girl, they've been talking on here. So Clever Girl starts off and says, "Didn't you hate using the encyclopedia and looking at books and articles? I think people should have every advantage in school." You know what's so funny is that, what is it called? The Dewey Decimal System, whenever it came to libraries and stuff. Mm-hmm. And
Sassy funny.
When it came down to that, though, it's just like that was difficult. If you were to take me into a library right now, I'd be screwed. When
was the last time you've been in a library?
God, I don't even know.
It's been like a year for me.
Yeah, I have
years. Maybe.
I was like,
it's college.
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
The library has a lot of amazing free resources too. If you're into the creative space too, as well, if you're in the Houston area, especially, check your local library. They have a lot of amazing free resources. They have studios, editing equipment, podcast rooms, all kinds of amazing things. Their library is more than just the hardcover and softcover books too.
Stank ass books.
Yeah, stank ass, dusty ass books. Have upgraded, definitely.
Oh my gosh. So the funny thing in here too, I have to say this. Sassy goes, "The spirit of Isaiah has possessed Keyshawn."
I gotta hold Isaiah down. He not here.
Isaiah speaking through Keyshawn, absolutely.
Speaking through me.
That's funny. Sassy's hysterical. She also went on to say, "Our libraries have a lot of community activities that we attend."
Yes.
Yeah, and then Clever Girl Reed says the library's amazing right now. Yeah, and I mean it's and correct me if I'm wrong, but Sonora, doesn't the downtown Houston library, that's a really extravagant library too, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's a lot of history there. And like they said, there's a lot of amazing activities for families that are free and also educational as well. The library is just is a fabulous place, despite all the dust.
Despite all the dust. So no, this was a great topic. I really enjoyed a lot. Definitely something I think a lot of people could have a lot to say about.
There's one more comment I wanted to read that was good. Okay, from Clever Girl Reads. I think it matters is just talking about, pass or fail. I think it matters. Doing well in school can give you some confidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, okay, let me think, because I didn't do well in school. And I still have confidence.
And I'm just trying to play advocate here. Like, maybe, if there is a student who didn't perform well academically, maybe, saw like, okay, I got a D in algebra. They're able to bring their grade up and, they're able to gain some confidence that way. This is what I'm thinking.
Matt, and since you hire people, I want to ask you, and you don't have to answer this. I noticed that, and I read some studies that say that less people are going to college now. Like, that's not always an option for people, or a lot of people go.
Say
that again, Sonora.
It may not be a good fit.
Yeah. So, and that doesn't negate if you're successful or not. As a hiring manager or someone who hires people, is that always something that you look for? Is a college degree? Is that like the gateway to get in the door?
It depends on the position. Because I think there are some positions, especially in television, there are some where technical skills mean a lot more than traditional education in the sense of going to a 4-year college. And like Sassy said, the cost of college is tremendous. It's
crazy.
It's insane. But I think it also kind of depends on everything's situational. So like one of the big things for me, and I remember when I first got into television back in the day, I remember telling my mom, I said, you have to trust me. I said, the most difficult thing is going to be getting my foot in the door. After I get my foot in the door, I'll be fine. Now, times have changed. It's a little bit easier now than what it used to be. But if maybe in a hiring manager, and I haven't really been in a position like this specifically, but like, let's say it's like for a producer position or a talent position or something like that. If somebody can say, hey, maybe I didn't take the traditional route when it came to this, but I'm still educated when it comes to how television works, the laws and the practices we need to follow and stuff like that. And I still have experience in this, that, and the other market and stuff. Then I think that is just as invaluable as a 4-year degree sometimes. I think the 4-year degree for me, like it came down to like legally, what can we do? What are the FCC rules? What are like, there's a lot of things like that. I don't think a 4-year degree really was necessary. I think I could have learned a lot of that in the 2-year degree. But yeah, I think it just kind of depends on the situation and stuff like that.
Because I was thinking the other day, like, how much do I use from college back in 2026? I'm gonna tell y'all, 2026, I went to college, right? And damn, why did I say that? But yeah, that was so long ago. So things are outdated now. Like back then, we were learning about print journalism, the Washington Post, New York Times, and all that. Like those they're still out, but they're in a new form. It's just like I don't even remember certain things that I've learned in college. I think that actually being in the field, being at these jobs, taught me the knowledge that I know today.
Absolutely. Well, and especially the thing I find really interesting when it comes to like college students and stuff. So like, I think one of the big things, and even like Clever Girl Reach said, community colleges should be free. It should be treated like public school. Agreed, 100%. I think one of the big things for me too is when it comes down to college and stuff. I just lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? I don't know what I was going to say, but anyways, at the end of the day, yeah, I agree with you though, Keyshawn. There's a lot of things from college I don't necessarily remember. A lot of the things I do remember, it's like the experiences. It's those.
Yeah, that's what I cherish: the experiences, the people. I'm still friends with a lot of my friends back in the day.
Yeah.
They knew me back when.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I think one of the things that, and I haven't been back in a college classroom in a long time, but I feel like a lot of colleges, from what I've heard, are still kind of behind the times in the sense of where the industry has shifted. I feel like the industry has shifted so far to being technologically savvy and stuff like that. I'm just afraid that some students may not be as prepared as they should be, because I mean, let's be real. Look at what we're doing here at our station. And we're pedal to the metal. We are trying new things. We're trying to be innovative. We're trying these different things. And I mean, it's not a secret. All three of us know this. It's not pretty a lot of times. It's not pretty a lot of times. There's a lot of growing pains with it. But afterwards, at the end of the day, it's like, damn, we did that. And we did it together and stuff like that. So
totally. And I think as far as industries go, it just, as far as like, what you learn in college and applying that in your career, I think it depends across the industry. I can't speak for any other industry aside from what I'm in, but yeah, just I want to say the same thing. A lot of what I know in journalism, a lot of it has been learned on the job. Of course, like in school, we learn how to actively write, but there's nothing like being in an actual newsroom and applying something. So
yeah.
It depends.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so we have roughly about 8 minutes left.
Let's pick a story before our last story.
Can we talk about the snake story since we have it in the title?
Okay, let's talk about the snake.
Okay, so
we have a clip too.
Does it have video, or does it have audio, or is it just
video? We have a report from Fox 5 Atlanta.
Okay, so really quick, so there is a crazy story. Snake hiding inside of a football player's helmet. I'm gonna tell you this much: if I saw a snake in my football helmet, first off, I'm not playing football, but second of all, if there was a snake in my helmet, you better believe I would be quitting the sports. I would be locking myself inside. So Keyshawn, go ahead and show this video.
Yeah, let's play it.
Well, here in Georgia, we are about to enter season when temperatures drop in that sweet spot between 70 and 85 degrees during the early fall months. So let this story be a lesson to all athletes who have to wear helmets.
I've never heard anything like this.
Ooh.
Take a look at this. This is the football helmet worn by a high school football player in Maumelle, Arkansas, near Little Rock. He had been wearing it for about an hour during a recent practice when he noticed something unusual moving inside.
Well, he took it to his coach, who then discovered a snake in the padding. So take a closer look here, and you can see it curled up inside, very comfy in that helmet. Well, eventually, Animal Services called out. They removed the snake to discover it was a venomous 2-foot-long copperhead.
Oh, my goodness. Thankfully, it didn't bite the player.
goodness.
The serpent was relocated to a wooded area far from the school. That is...
No words.
That is scary. I think I'd be sleeping with my helmet from now on. I would never...
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you, and the thing that's so crazy is the cottonmouth snake is extremely venomous. Very, very venomous.
Well, what is this? Okay.
Is this how they got him out?
Head. See?
I see it. Yeah.
So he's to the right of that.
Yeah, he's where the black piece is.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is how they get the snake out? Oh.
I think so.
This is my first time watching the clip, y'all.
Hey, Radio
We're learning together.
Right.
Do we need to get
He's
another...
coming. Just wait, because he's going to move. There he
Amy,
is.
you're going to have to get ready.
No.
Or somebody...
No.
I am. I just don't want to freak him out.
Yeah, just wait. Give him a second to get out of this, and then we'll move this out.
Okay, come on, hurry up.
Oh, he's coming. Watch out, his head's about to be...
What a damn snake.
Okay,
This reminds me of a horror movie where you're just waiting for it to pop out.
The tension.
The fact that we're just sitting here watching this snake.
This is insane to me.
It's over there in the woods.
You're not gonna pull them out? You gonna get to them?
Oh,
There you go.
oh, that clamp was really strong. Oh my gosh. No. Oh gosh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
I'm just like, imagine having to be the adult in this situation. If I don't know what I would have done if I were the coach. If I were a coach and my player brought me their helmet with a snake in it, practice canceled. I can't.
Practice canceled, football season canceled.
Yes, everybody go home.
Everybody go home. Sassy, okay, just set it on fire, even though it's filled with water.
Yeah, I do not do snakes.
Neither.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Sassy said, just set her on fire, even though it's filled with water. Yeah. Set her on fire.
That's there. Nope. There ain't no way in hell. There ain't no way in hell. That's crazy.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's go and do
one more story.
One
more.
All right, let's see. Should we just go ahead and do this quick the follow-up for the topic 3 that we had? Because that could be a short one, the baby Gabriel story.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna read from Fox 4 from their website. So okay, so was it last week? There was a story about the surrogate mother or the surrogate from up in Alaska. She was a nurse, and she ended up coming down to Texas to try to keep the baby that she's pregnant with. Now, the actual family, they wanted her to abort the baby, the surrogate, because the baby was going to have, I believe it was a heart defect.
Syndrome.
Yeah. So
heart issue, defect.
So just kind of some of the bullet points with this. So in Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton intervened in the dispute involving the baby with a severe congenital heart defect. The Dallas County Court barred anyone from denying medically necessary treatment or removing the child from Texas while the case is pending. The surrogate says the intended parents refused heart surgery and may seek to move the baby to California after birth. So there's some of the things when it comes to that. One of the other things, I'm trying to find it in here.
What?
I believe that it was saying that the baby
was born.
Was the baby born?
Yeah, I think the baby was born today.
Oh, really?
Oh. Right, I think that's what was said. Yeah,
that is crazy. And I remember the other thing too, where they were saying that the surrogate was not going to be able to have contact with the baby. So I do remember saying that earlier. So I mean, it's a crazy story. Yeah, I was going to say, I know that Fox 4 News, which is our sister station up in Dallas, they have a full breakdown of everything with the story. And as we know, I mean, abortions are illegal in the state of Texas. So I think that's probably part of the reason.
Yeah.
So crazy story. And we have about 1 minute left in the show, y'all. So you guys ready to do this tomorrow and Friday and Monday?
We're gonna do it. I actually enjoy it.
I do too.
Someone said this is like the Sherry Shepherd situation. No comment.
Oh my gosh. No, guys,
right, y'all.
This is a great show. It was a fun time. I always love doing this with both of y'all. And then on top of that, I love having Sassy and Clever Girl Reads and High Maintenance.
Tell your friends about us.
Tell everybody about us. 8 o'clock. 8
Monday
o'clock.
to Friday. Thank you, Sassy.
Subscribe, like.
What's Sonora? Before we go, I don't want to put you on the spot. We got 1 more minute before we log off. But what's coming on tonight? You know?
We're talking about GLP-1 dangers, the dangers of doom scrolling, a whole bunch of great stuff. We have a brand new factor on the way at 10:30.
Yeah, perfect. 10:30. Watch us. We'll see you tomorrow at 8. Have a good night, y'all.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.